You all right? Welcome to episode 6. I've done 6 episodes now. To be honest, I thought you'd stop watching. But I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying at home. Unless you need to travel to Durham to get some child support, you can do that.
Sorry. Social distancing. Yeah.
What a scandal, you know? But I'm not gonna talk about it because as a journalist, I have to remain unbiased, so I won't talk about it. So I'll just talk about some good news instead. Just like that much more successful YouTube vlog with John Krasinski. Colonel Tom Moore is now getting a knighthood. Good on him. Also, takeaways are back in full force. I had a Chinese the other night and my head nearly fell off. And some other good news is that today I'm going to be joined by one of the stars of the West End. She has also written and developed and starred in her own play about Liza Minnelli and Judy Garland, and she's also starred in West End plays such as Miss Saigon, Les Mis, Annie, to name but a few. It is the brilliant Emma Dears. Hi Emma, thank you for joining me.
Hi Owen, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I have to ask, how have you been coping during lockdown?
Do you know what? Not bad. Ups and downs, as like most people, but we're a family of 4, so 2 daughters who are 10 and 12, so that's been quite difficult for 9 weeks, not seeing their mates. But there have been positives about it as well. You know, it's been nice to spend this time together, which just wouldn't happen normally, So I feel grateful for that, but yesterday I found myself quite tearful for no reason. I think you're up and down, aren't you?
Yeah. So. I always say it could be worse. It could be worse, couldn't it? We're all quite lucky.
Oh God, we're hugely privileged, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? Let's face it. We're sitting down watching box sets and doing your garden, and we're really, really lucky, but the underlying threat is there, isn't it? And that makes people anxious.
Yeah. So have you mastered homeschooling yet? Is that a thing that you've got?
It's starting to take its toll. I just kind of went with the theory that 3 hours a day is enough, because I'd rather they did 3 hours of good quality stuff than try to do 6 of rubbish, So we do an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the afternoon, and that's it. And I'm finding that what we get done is worth doing, So that's been my strategy.
Yeah, like in our house, there's just nothing getting done at all. I missed out on A levels. My brother's he's made up because he's missed his GCSEs. So there's literally nothing that.
It's so hard though, isn't it? I mean, I know there's people who say, "Oh yeah, it's great," but it's such a life. It's a really important time, and you're missing out on it. Even for the pain of it, it's hard. I mean, my niece Scarlett, she's in the same position as you, and it's her 18th in a couple of weeks, and you just think, God, all this huge, no prom, no. It is hard.
I'm thinking about all the 18ths that I'll have to go to. Like they must be like bro.
After, it should just be one huge, massive one, shouldn't there? Like on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, it lasts for about a month probably.
Yeah.
So, and your daughters as well are into singing and performing like you, like doing very well, casting like the School of Rock and West End. So, were you very supporting when they were saying, we want to get into singing and performing, or were you like, maybe they might not be as good as me, or even worse, they could be better than you?
Well, I've kind of faced with that a little bit, to be honest. My eldest has sort of decided she's more into the art side of things, which she's brilliant at, and I love that. But it is a bit scary because I don't know anything about art. Whereas my youngest is very much into, she's very talented when it comes to acting and singing, and very natural with it. So yeah, it's a weird one because I know how hard it can be, but I also am able to give her some advice, and I'm able to say, make sure your life's balanced. have other things to fall back on, you know, and I'm speaking from experience, so it's not a case of my mum and dad saying that to me and me going, what do you know? You know,
Yeah.
at least I can say, well, actually I do know. And you know, but she's dead chilled with it as well. She doesn't show off. She's got a good balance going on, so I'm happy as long as that's the case. As soon as she started turning obnoxious, I'd be right on her.
Yeah. Now we've known each other for a while because you cast me as the lion in my primary school play, Wizard of Oz. What a great talent was, and I think before that as well, you were at a talent show, which I won for the second time. I know it's an interview about you, but let's just talk about me winning this talent show. So
no, I was asked to come and judge the St. Anne's talent show, and I think you'd won it the previous year, and I didn't know that there was a law that said you can't win it 2 years in a row, and you hosted it, and I remember thinking, wow, he's great. So I gave you the overall winner, and I think maybe I was in the doghouse for giving overall winner twice.
I think it was sort of like if Ant and Dec won Britain's Got Talent. It was a bit like that, but you know.
A little bit. I remember your face looking a little bit shocked.
Yeah, definitely. It was when I sort of like fell in love with sort of just being on stage and stuff like that. Because I just got such a buzz off it, and
yeah,
people laughing at me.
And the Wizard of Oz was great as well. We had a giggle, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I still have my mate.
Right song. Your voice was just on the break of on the edge of breaking, wasn't it? It was like, right, what are we going to do here?
No, it was sort of like on the edge of puberty. It was just about to hit me, but there you go. Let's talk about your career. So where did it all begin for you?
Oh God, it began when I was 8 and I auditioned for Annie and was offered the part of Annie, but I was too young. So they made me wait a year. So I did it when I was 9. And I toured the country with it. And yeah, that's where it all began, really.
So is that where you knew that you were gonna go on and do theatre?
I'd say even earlier than that, to be honest. It was just, and it's bizarre because no one in my family has talent. That sounds terrible. That kind of talent, you know, no one sings. They're all completely tone deaf, and so I was a bit of an can't say that word. Anomaly. You know what I mean. So yeah, I knew from an early age it was what I wanted to do, and took it very seriously from an early age. In a way, I kind of regret that now because, you know, I look at childhood and think, oh gosh, yeah, I was really serious and really dedicated, and you know, so known since I'd say about 5 or 6.
Yeah, and what was your first experience like on the West End?
Well, actually, my first experience, because I toured the UK with Annie. So as a child, I did a TV programme called Halls of Fame. That was in the West End, but it was only a one-off. But my first major show in the West End was Miss Saigon. I'd done Les Miserables on tour, and then I went into Miss Saigon in the West End. And I had a fabulous time in Miss Saigon. It was the only show that I ended up doing 2 contracts. So I was there 18 months because normally I get itchy feet, you know, and want to move on. But the cast and the people were just so lovely. I think it was the mixture of cultures. You didn't get the usual sort of ego that you can get. It was just a really nice family. So, and the Theatre Royal Drury Lane is an amazing place to work. So yeah, that was great.
And you've been in so many shows. Can I ask if you have a favourite? My
favourite part would be Rizzo in Grease. Absolutely loved playing her. She's just, it's got everything, hasn't it? You know, you can be an absolute cow-faced cow, but at the same time, people love you. You know, so it was great. I loved it.
And one of the things I always like to ask people who do theatre as well, that theatre productions often do get made into movies or TV shows. So when you sort of like watching, I've got to ask, because Cats didn't do great last year. Did you watch it? You didn't?
No, I didn't. If I'm honest, Cats is not one of my I get bored watching the show, so I wasn't going to sit and watch a film of it, but I've heard the reviews, which were just chronic, weren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not my, I know people love it, but it's just not my thing. You know, I go to listen to one song and that's it, you know, so no, I haven't been to see that. But sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, you know. I think on the whole, the Les Mis film worked. What I liked about the Les Mis film was you learnt more about the individual characters, which you can't really do on a stage. You know, you got more background information. But I thought that the big numbers, the big choral numbers, didn't work as well as they do on the stage. So it's, you know, it's give and take, isn't it?
And I remember Ricky Gervais saying he saw one of the reviews saying it's the worst thing to happen to cats since dogs.
It's dogs. Yeah. It's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah. And as well as starring in shows, you also like written and developed a show of your own about Judy Garland and Liza Minnelli, and you went on to as well as Liza. How was that for you?
It's great. It's 10 years old actually this year, which is a bit bizarre. It's called Judy and Liza, and it's about, a lot of people won't know that Judy Garland and Liza Minnelli are mother and daughter. So it's about their relationship. And back in 1964, they did a concert together at the London Palladium, basically because Judy was really struggling with her voice and wasn't in a good place. So she asked her 19-year-old daughter, Liza, come and do this with me. And Liza blew them away, you know. So it's really, the juxtaposition between the two is really interesting, you know, and the balance. So in the first half, we concentrate on Judy Garland's life, and in the second half, we concentrate on Liza's, and the mirrors that go on with the hits that they had, the films that they had, and the tragedies that they've had, you know, it's quite extraordinary. You'd think it had been written, not actually happened, you know. So yeah, and we're still I take it out on P&O cruises. We do, so we'll fly out, do 5 shows, come fly back, which is great. You know, that's given me the opportunity to see a lot of the world, though I don't know when that'll be happening again. So, and we took it on tour maybe I think 5 times now around the UK. So it's been great, and it was a way of me keeping a bit of control whilst I had children, you know, so I was still able to perform, but it was my extra baby, so I could control when I wanted to do it and how I was going to do it. So that's why I wrote it, really.
It's a brilliant show, and not many people know as well that you've also worked in television as well. So how different is the theatre from television?
Hugely different, really different. It's a completely different discipline. For a start, auditioning for these things are very different. When you audition for a musical, it's very high intensity, and there's lots of competition, and it's, you know, it's very tense. Whereas TV castings are much more laid back. There's much more. They just want you to go in as you. So that's different from the outset. The discipline of TV acting is, you know, what people don't understand is you've got to film the same thing maybe 4 or 5 times, and there's a thing called continuity. So if you've picked up your drink and had a drink whilst you've said one word, you've got to do that at the same point every 5 times, otherwise it doesn't look right within the scheme of things, you know. So, and I literally, my biggest TV role was my first TV role, and I literally had to learn on the job because I didn't know. No one had taught me what was going to happen. And it was a bit scary, to be honest, but I loved it. Yeah, it's great. And what's great about TV work is you get something on your CV and it's only taking you a day to do. Whereas, you know, you go and do Miss Saigon for 18 months and it's only 1 job on your CV. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So if you do 2 TV jobs a year, your CV looks great.
And you've been in commercials as well. So what is the strangest commercial you've been a part of?
Oh, I did a thing for Iceland where they'd done this whole, I don't know if I should be saying this really, I probably sounded non-disclosure, but hey ho. They did a thing for real mothers. So they did a competition across the country for real mothers, and I think they got maybe 6 or 7 real mothers to come and do an advert, but they needed 2 actors within that just to kind of keep it gelled together. Yeah. You know, so that if it was a disaster, they could step up and say. So I did this Iceland advert with Jason Donovan and these 6 real mums, and I was basically there to babysit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, so that was one thing, and the other thing is I did an advert for a Cathedral City cheese, and all you ended up seeing was my arm, and I got paid a hell of a lot of money for someone seeing my arm.
Oh, nice.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that is the way to live. That is the way to live.
It's a strange political world because, you know, because I'm an actress, I got paid a certain amount, but the extras wouldn't have got a tenth of what I got, and yet we're seeing more in the advert. So it doesn't seem fair, really, but it's just the way it goes.
Can't complain, can you? Can't complain.
No. And then it was repeated a few years later, and I got paid again.
Oh, nice.
It's a very expensive arm.
Yeah. It's the money maker. The money maker.
Yeah.
So obviously singing is your forte, and I ask this to mostly everyone. It's normally a question fez question, but what is your go-to karaoke song? So it's basically all your singing training is out the window, but when you're on karaoke, what is the song that you go for?
Oh God, I suppose it's Worse Things. I just, from Rizzo, I'd always, that or Cabaret, I end up getting involved in those. Yeah, they're the kind of showstoppers.
And I just mentioned the question fez, and it's sort of a segment that I do all the time, but the viewers are sort of saying, you know, we want new content. So I have actually thought of a new segment that I can do. Right. I'm just kidding. It's still the question fez. The question fez is still here. So hopefully a question fez will just swoop across me right now. There it is. So it's just, I don't know what the questions are because my family write them and they just put them in the fez. And I take them out, and it's just for me and you to answer. So we'll just mix it up a little bit. And here's the first one. The first question is, night in or night out? Good question.
Well, at the minute, it's got to be night out, hasn't it?
I think so. I think we've had too many nights in for us to choose that now. I think we're getting used to it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, easy question. Good question, though. Here's the next one. Okay, it's a long one. So would you rather never be able to sing again or go on a 6-hour car drive with Dominic Cummings? That's a very good question.
Is he infected?
Probably. Probably.
I'd have to risk Dominic Cummings. It's my worst nightmare that I'd lose my voice.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think
I just sing at him.
Yeah, just channeling
drown him out and sing whilst I'm on my 6-hour journey.
Good question, though. Whoever wrote that, I'm going to ask them later who wrote that, because that is probably one of the best questions we've ever got. So here's the next one. Okay, it's a classic. Favorite type of cake? Good question.
Do you know what? I've never drunk a cup of coffee in my life, but I love coffee cake.
Oh, nice.
What's that about? Never drunk. I don't even can't stand the smell of coffee, but I love coffee cake.
Is it like just coffee flavoured things in general, or just the coffee cake?
No, just the only thing I like is coffee cake. Anything else coffee wise, I've never literally had a cup of coffee ever. Right,
yeah. But just the cake.
Just the cake.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's good cake. For me, probably cheesecake. It's got. But actually, the funny thing about that is I don't like cheese, so I love cheesecake.
Well, there you go.
What a weird
bizarre
world we live in. And it's the last one. The last one. Here we go. What is your most embarrassing moment? Moment.
Do you want the truth?
Of course, we love exclusives on the show.
Okay, one of the most embarrassing, I have a thing where if I laugh too hard, I can sometimes wee myself.
Yeah.
So I've been on stage in Miss Saigon, and there's a rake. Do you know what a rake is?
Yes.
On the stage, when the top of the stage is high and the bottom of the stage, so it's like a slant. And so I'm literally laughing so hard that I wee myself, and it's trickling down the stage and hits the conductor. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. That is good enough, and that is a good place to end the interview as well. So, so Emma, thank you very much for joining me on
My pleasure.
Isolation, and I hope to speak to you soon.
Yeah, and you, Owen. You take care.
Bye for now.
It's been brilliant coming on to Isolation Station. It's made my day. Thank you, Owen Adams.